Grizzlies fans, it is another game day, and that means we've got Gerald Bourguet back for the fourth time in like 1 month. The Grizzlies are taking on the Suns today in Phoenix. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. Central Time. All right. Are you ready to break this one down again?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so the Grizzlies have played the Phoenix Suns 3 times. Each of those games have been decided by 17 or more points. The Grizzlies' last 2 games, not against the Suns, just this season, have been decided by 1 single point each. So they're coming in here, hoping that it's another 17-point game in their favor. But I think most importantly, we start with the Grizzlies' injury report is clean. Everyone's playing except for Danny Green, who, of course, is still coming back from ACL from last year. Do you want to walk through the Suns? Because I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 guys not playing.
Yeah, so we haven't gotten the official injury report for today, but based on yesterday, Cam Johnson missed the game due to right knee injury management. We think he's going to play today. We think it was by design. They were saving him for this one to give him an extra day between his return and this one. DeAndre Ayton, we're not sure. He was questionable heading into the day with a non-COVID illness and then was downgraded to out. Same thing with Chris Paul with the right hip soreness that's had him missing games lately. Landry Shamet is out. Josh Okogie came back last night, so he should be good to go. Cam Payne's still out. Devin Booker's still out. And I think that's all of it.
Yeah, you nailed it. Okogie, we were talking about when the Grizzlies last played the Suns here in Memphis, he took that elbow to the face from DeAndre Ayton by accident, of course, and that completely broke his nose yesterday. Against the Pacers was his first game back. He had a big game, but he was playing really well in Memphis too. And this is what I want to start talking to you about is the bench. In the last game, I think the Grizzlies and the Suns both had 40 plus bench points. The game before in December, the Suns had 60 bench points. Yesterday's game with the Suns had 61 bench points. How important is this second unit for the Suns right now with all these injuries?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been huge, which is kind of crazy to say about a team that's already starting a bunch of bench guys.
Yeah.
Against the Grizzlies, they're probably going to go with another dual big lineup because of the Jaren Jackson, Steven Adams factor. And Adams is a guy that's averaged 5 offensive rebounds a night against this Suns team, so they need some size in there. But when you look at the bench, guys like Saben Lee, who just signed a second 10-day contract, have been big. Dwayne Washington, he had that one good game against the Grizzlies earlier in the season.
Oh, we remember.
Yeah, he's kind of fizzled a little bit since then, but and Josh Okogie came in, he had 23 points last night, 4 blocks. He was huge, and he's a guy that I think he got to the line 14 times. The Suns got there 35 times as a team. So they've been showing more of a downhill attack mentality, which they need to against a Grizzlies team that's obviously very physical and does a lot of their damage in the paint.
Yeah, the Grizzlies lead the league right now in points in the paint. The Suns are 25th, I believe, so like bottom 5 in the league. Yet it seems like every single game that these two teams go at each other, the Suns either outscore them in the paint or like right there. And you brought up kind of like that dual big with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Steven Adams. It makes the Suns play not so small in that 4 position, which sometimes they had been going to. Jaren had 18 points in the last game. What worked and what didn't work in terms of stopping JJ, because he is a matchup nightmare.
Yeah, he's really tough because he's a guy that can spread you out to the 3-point line, and you're already worried about Steven Adams being in the paint, the way that he can attack the offensive glass and create second chance opportunities. I think the Grizzlies, among all Suns opponents, are like top 3 or 4 in offensive rebounds against the Suns, in points in the paint, second chance points, like points off turnovers. They've really beat the Suns in a lot of those key areas. And Jaren Jackson's tough because, if you're starting Dario Saric out there on him, he's not the most fleet of foot kind of guy. So Jackson has kind of that athletic advantage and just a pure skill advantage over him. So the Suns are going to need to find a way to kind of get back to their defensive roots with a lot of key guys missing. I think if Cam Johnson plays tonight, they're going to try and space things out on the other end with his 3-point shooting, and his spacing opened up a ton for like DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges the other night when he came back. So it might be one of those things where maybe Cam doesn't start if he returns today, but he does play 20-25 minutes off the bench, and they really try to capitalize on the spacing to combat what JJJ brings on the other end.
Yeah, and that would add some more points to their bench total, which has just been insane lately. Okay, let's talk about some of the guards though. Mikal Bridges had 21 points, 7 assists last time they played the Grizzlies. Desmond Bane had 28 points. John Morant had 29 points, 7 assists. It seems like at the very least, the guards are scoring a whole lot when these two teams play. What are you expecting from that tonight?
Yeah, I think from the Mikal Bridges perspective, yesterday was his 4th straight game scoring 20 plus points, which is the first time in his career he's ever done that.
That's surprising to me, actually.
It is. And it's kind of interesting because he's had to take on a lot of the playmaking and ball handling duties with Book and CP3 out. And he had a really tough month-long stretch where he was not shooting the ball well, not playing well. He was really down. And over the last 6 or so games, he's really kind of turned that around. So I'm looking for him to stay aggressive against the Grizzlies tonight. On the other end, the Suns tried to go under screens on John Morant last game, and he just buried them from 3. They were giving him shots that they wanted him to take because he's not the best 3-point shooter, but he was knocking them down and making them pay. So I am interested to see if the strategy changes a little bit, especially with Desmond Bane out there, who is another guy that can really bury you from long range.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I think because these teams have played 3 times in less than a month, it's obviously not like a playoff series where it's like back to back to back, but they are getting to know each other so well. And you're having to try different things to figure out how to slow people down. And it's just anyway, this is the last time we're going to play you in regular season. So we'll see how this one ends up. My very last question to you. Both teams. Okay. So the Grizzlies shot 53% last time from the field against the Suns 43, which was very low for the Suns. Give me your prediction on is this going to be a defensive kind of night or an offensive kind of night? Both really good defensive teams, but it seems like they just score when they play each other.
Yeah, I think this is going to be another high scoring game. And it could be another, the 4 straight 17 plus point game that decides it. The Suns are second night of a back-to-back. They've got so many guys out. And the Grizzlies are a really good team and a tough matchup for this particular Suns team. They struggle with that kind of physicality with teams that can get to the free throw line, get in the paint, force the issue. So their defense is going to have to be top notch if they want to make it a competitive game tonight.
Okay, my very last thing then, really quick, because we don't have a lot of time. One matchup that you're excited for, because you always give me a good off one.
I'm going to say Cam Johnson against JJJ or whoever. I don't know how much he's going to play today, but if Cam Johnson plays, that's the one I'm looking at because, they've tried to combat the Grizzlies with size, with Dario Saric and some of their bigs that they have. Bismack Biyombo played really well last night, getting the starting job, but they need that element to kind of space the Grizzlies out and try to throw something different at them. They haven't had Cam in these matchups and they've really needed him for this type of game. So that's the one I'm looking at tonight.
So it could be Jaren, it could be Brandon, it could be Santi, just Cam Johnson versus whoever he's got in front of him.
Right, pretty much.
I like it. Okay, guys, like I said, the game tips off at 7 p.m. tonight. If you're watching from Memphis, that is 5 in Phoenix?
5, yeah.
5 p.m. in Phoenix. You can watch this one on Bally Sports and the Bally Sports Plus app. Thank you so much for the final time. I hope we see you in the playoffs.
Of course, that'd be fun. We could do it for playoff games now too.